Hello, everyone, and welcome to History 270. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. You got all laugh in the background. I'll edit that out. Anyway, all right. Oh, beautiful. Okay, awesome. All right, here we go. So here's our first debate. Salem witch trials. I'm really psyched about this because I've never done this before, and literally this was my weekend. Not all of it. I did a lot of other things, but I put it all together for you this weekend. Put all the sources for you together. Got some examples of how to annotate some stuff. So here we go. So for some of you, this might be your first debate ever. Those of you who are a little more involved in AP World last year, this will help you get set up for it. So here's our little Salem witch trials debate, a little PowerPoint. I want to go through it. It's actually kind of a neat painting that shows you some of like the dramatic elements of the Salem witch trials. I'm not sure it was this dramatic, like we're like, had to be held back and all that kind of stuff. What's an artist's interpretation, certainly, of the drama of the court proceedings when people were like confessing to be witches or calling people out to be witches. So kind of an interesting thing to look at. So here it is. This is the actual question in our debate. Are the 1692 witchcraft trials in Salem, Massachusetts, motivated by Puritans' belief in witchcraft? Or are there other more mundane factors at work? And what I mean by mundane, less spiritual or other reasons, but more of just concrete, more scientific reasons why there might have been these trials and what causes huge outbreak of hysteria in Salem for almost a year. All right, so we're going to divide up. One team is going to be the debating team. They're going to take the affirmative argument. Another team will take the negative argument. And do we have 4 or 5 groups in this class? 4. Okay, that's easy. Then the 2 other groups will be judges. Now I know some of you last year were negative judges or affirmative judges. For us, you're just a judge. You judge both sides equally because you're really not doing any of your own outside research for this. I give you all the sources, so you're good to go. Everybody's got the same sources, so it's an even playing field. That's how a lot of college debates work. You're just given a bunch of sources and you go after them. All right, so everybody knows what everybody's talking about. So here's the affirmative argument. This is the argument that the belief in witchcraft caused all this Salem witch trial hysteria. So life for the Puritans is a struggle between the forces of good and evil. Puritans believe strongly in the devil, and they believe that his work is carried out through witchcraft. Therefore, people start exhibiting symptoms that cannot easily be explained. It is natural for them to be diagnosed as bewitched. Furthermore, the symptoms of the afflicted resemble those described in a book about other victims of witchcraft written by the well-respected minister Cotton Mather, making a diagnosis of bewitched even more likely. So basically, these people really believed in this. If you were ill and they couldn't explain it medically, they just assumed that you were under the spell of somebody, which creates a lot of problems because there's not a lot of hard science and medicine in 1690 to explain things, right? Okay? And obviously this guy, Cotton Mather, well-known Boston minister, wrote this super popular book on witchcraft. People read it and felt that this must be the way things are going. That's the affirmative argument. The next one is that, no, there's other reasons behind this. The accusations are motivated by factors other than belief in witchcraft. For instance, rivalries between Salem's richer and poorer inhabitants cause petty jealousies, right? So you're jealous of someone, how do you get rid of them? Accuse them of being a witch, okay? Whoa, all right? But seriously, right? I mean, this is like bullying and hazing to like the nth degree, right? That you can be executed for this, right? Okay? Accusing of someone of witchcraft is one way of dealing with a rival. Also, books about witchcraft are very popular reading, and the symptoms of the afflicted mirror those in the books. People were reading this stuff about witchcraft, scaring them out. Like, oh, I just saw this the other day. This must be true, all right? And then lastly, it is likely that the accusations are the result of girls who are simply bored during a long, hard winter spent mostly indoors. There's nothing to do. So we'll create hysteria, kind of mix it up a little bit in the town, cause some excitement, which gets out of hand, all right? So if you're the affirmative group, this is how it works, okay? On Thursday, we'll have speeches, and it'll be the debater's day, all right? Your team will craft an opening statement outlining your argument. You should provide an introduction of the facts, examples, and details that will prove your case. I give you about 3 minutes. That's the max. If you don't use that whole 3 minutes, I allow you to bank it later. You can take the minute you have left over and use it later in the debate, okay? One person usually gives a prepared opening statement, where you bring in some great quotes from your sources, just kind of lay out your argument for us. Then later, the heart of your argument will be this presentation of evidence section, where you present at least 4 specific examples of evidence of your side. You must use information from the primary sources. So we want to see some direct quotes from those primary sources. You're going to explain who wrote this quote, why it's significant, how it's for your case. And you have 6 minutes the most. You might have a little more, right, if you save some of your time from your opening statement. All right? Then later in the debate, you will have a chance to examine the other side. You will cross-examine the other team. You have 4 minutes. That's locked in. To ask the other team questions, to go after their argument, show them more of your sources, and challenge them directly. It's a cross-examination. And then lastly, you will have a 3-minute closing statement where you argue your case. The maximum of 3 minutes. Okay? That's the affirmative. Now the negative is the exact same thing, right? You're going to argue your case the exact same way the affirmative did. All right? Now, judges, what about you? You don't normally judge, but in this case, we'll make an exception. All right? You're the fact checker. You're the truth checker, and you're also asking questions. So you need to know both sides of the debate. You need to know all your sources really well so you can challenge both sides with those sources. Now, it is fair and balanced because judging groups are not actually creating speeches, right? So they don't have to worry about that, but they are being experts on the sources so they can question and challenge on their day, all right? So you're going to listen to and track the truth of opening statements and rebuttals. You're going to ask questions about the evidence presented. You'll have to anticipate what evidence they will pick. You must be an expert on the primary sources. You're going to render judgment on your vast knowledge, okay? I'm going to evaluate you on the questions you ask, the sources you use, and how well you deliberate. The judges decide who wins the debate, okay? Does that make sense? That's kind of what we're going to do. All right. So on our first day, this is the schedule. Affirmative opening goes first, the negative opening. Then affirmative gives their presentation of evidence. Negative gets to cross-examine that. Then the negative evidence, and the affirmative cross, and then the 2 closing statements. Okay? On day 2, we're just going to kind of go back and forth where each judging group gets a chance to ask the affirmative question, then the negative question. Affirmative, negative, and we're just going to kind of keep on building that as we go through it, and then we'll save some time for the judges to deliberate on their own. Go out in the hall and I'll listen to your deliberations, and then you openly come out and you explain why you thought who won and why. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Wow, this is great. Awesome. Okay, let's get out of this. Now, on that introduction page, when I'm still on Schoology, there's also this action sheet. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up, and this will help you. A video will eventually be there sometime tomorrow or later in the day. So it says, welcome to the Salem witchcraft trials, right? The goal is to increase your research skills. This is a great exercise in historical inquiry. You know, looking at sources, looking at biases in sources, examining them. This is all skill-based stuff, all right? So this would be a good way to really dive into historical research and skill-based activity. So to get you started, what side you're on, you're going to know that soon. Are you a judge or debater? The debate guides, what I just went through, those are the slides. Definitely look over these rubrics. If you're a debater, here's a rubric, okay? And this is the rubric that I have on Schoology that I'm going to use to score you. Like, how well was your opening statement? How well did you use historical sources? How well did you mention those sources and use primary source quotes? How well did you refute the side of the other team when you asked them questions? How was your closing statement? How was your performance, right? You can get about 50 points maximum for that. So it's a good sized grade, all right? The debate, the judging rubric, very similar. Not as detailed in some respect, but the same ideas. Your comments on the opening and closing statements, the questions you asked, the questions on the primary sources, the way you judged your peers and your performance and so forth. That's how it works, okay? So when you get started today, map out each member's role. Divide this up, okay? The amount of reading looks a lot at first, but it's not. If you divide it up, it's super easy to go through all this and start crafting your arguments or crafting your questions if you're a judge. Each group, including the judges, must be aware of the primary and secondary sources. All right, all groups must read and analyze these. Now, you can get them online. If you're at home, Facts on File, or here, there's the actual website for the Facts on File address. There's the password if you're at home, and there's how you get to it. I kind of broke it down through screenshots. But I also have all the sources linked to a Google Doc that you're all going to have. Does that make sense? So you just hit the link, take you right to the source. You don't have to worry about it, okay? I have it all linked up for you. So here's how this works. This will be a Google Doc sort of sharing activity. Each member of the group is going to share out 2 Google Docs with everybody else, and all those Google Docs are shared on Google Classroom. Okay, so I'll guide you through that. All right, so you have one member of the team must share a copy of both Google Docs. There's a research sheet and a note sheet. Okay, so prepare your speeches, do all that stuff, and obviously the most important thing is to have fun. have more fun than me. This is a great sketch from the Salem witch trials. I just added that to it because she doesn't look like she's having a lot of fun. She's not having a good time right now. She was just accused of being a witch. All right. Sorry. Okay. Should make fun of these serious issues. All right. What's that? What? No, I wasn't even thinking of that. This is my own unique cleverness. All right. Now. Okay. So anyway, let's get out of that. And let's go into more of the stuff in the folder, okay? So this rubric, these are rubrics as well. You can get them here. The rubrics are also right on here. That's how I'm going to score you. The sources are also here as PDF files or links to them, but here's the best way to get them. Go to this Google Classroom link. This is going to open up. And this is the debate note sheet. The link's also on Schoology. But here's the research sheet. One member of the group should open this up, the research sheet, and this is as a group where you take notes, okay? One member of the group should share it with everybody else and put your names here so I know whose sheet this is. But only one member should open it and share it, and then everybody has access to it then, okay? So this is the background article. Everybody should read the background article. It's about 7 pages, 6 pages long. I have hard copies of everything. If you don't want to read them online, you can have a hard copy. And it looks like this. It gives you a background of the issue, it gives you both sides of the issue, and it gives you some cool idea for arguments. All right, everybody should read this and know it well. For example, here's my copy that I did over the weekend, because this is the first time I've read through this, and I started circling stuff, right, going through it. I found that there were 4 religious arguments for the debate, and there's 4 of the other mundane arguments. So those are the 4 you can really use. You can use different ones if you want to think of them. And it gives you some really good background of the issue. So I would go after it, annotate it, and get ready to add notes to that note sheet. Okay, so add your notes right here for it. And then these are each of the primary sources. Okay, so you can go through those. Some are like 1 page long, you know, and you like look through the source. Does the source fit my side? Does it fit the other side? Or if you're a judge, you just got to know it. And for example, I went through one of the sources. I went through all of them, obviously, but I wanted to give you an example of one of them. I thought I could go for both sides, affirmative and negative. And I kind of circled in green that this was a good one for the affirmative. And then in blue, I thought this was a really good one for the negative. This one got repeated twice. You don't have to read that one. Okay, so this one could be useful for both of them. So you got to kind of go look through them and try to decide which source works for your side. Does that make sense, everybody? Cool. Awesome. All right. So that's how it works. And all the sources are there. Now, one quick thing. The last 2 sources, I forgot to give you hard copies, but they're like timelines and like a list of names. So you don't really need a hard copy of it. Just look at it as a good reference. You can't really take a lot of notes on those last 2. They're just things just to be aware of. Bonus opportunity. Always time for a bonus. I gave you 3 websites that have links to other sources. If you want to find other sources to help you, you can, but it is not necessary. Okay, does that make sense? It's up to you. So I'll check around, find a couple different things, throw a curveball at my opponents. You never know, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, does that make sense? Awesome, very good. Okay, back to Schoology. So there's the Google Classroom link. Do all that stuff. Oh, I forgot to show you. Then, if you're a debater, open up this sheet. One member of the group should share it. And you don't gotta put in the turn in. I gotta get rid of that. Sorry about that. But there's a good place to put your opening thesis statement. A good place to put some of your facts for your presentation of evidence, cross-examining, closing statement. You will be allowed to bring up your devices up here. Your team members can type and help you, and you can look at while you're up here, right? Because it's a shared Google Doc. You can use your devices throughout the debate. I'll be on these docs, and I'll be watching it too, and looking in to see what you're doing. All right. One person come up for the opening, one person come up for the closing, and 2 people can come up for the presentation of evidence. Doesn't have to be the same person or the same people. And again, if you don't want to speak, you're not into that right now, that's okay. You could be a researcher and have your other teammates come up and speak. You guys as a group need to decide that. Does that make sense? If you're a debating team, okay? Questions so far? And again, same thing. If you're a judge, you open up this note sheet. Here's where you're taking notes during the debate on their speeches. Only use one for both sides. Okay, you can take more notes and organize it any way you like below it. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's really yours to organize and fit how it works for you. Awesome, that's not too bad. All right, and there are the links to the rubrics. I think that's really about it. So any comments or questions? Everybody pretty good?